Okay, so if you'll go ahead and get out your notebook. So in your notebook today is 9:14, and your bell ringer for today is on the board. It says, if you could say something to the whole world, what would it be and why is it important to you? This ties into what we're going to talk about today. So if you could say something important to the whole world, what would it be and why is it important to you? So if you want to put that in your notebook, you can put it right underneath the last one, or you can start a new page. It doesn't matter. So the reason we're looking at that bell ringer, if you could say something important to the whole world, what would it be and why is it important to you? Because we're starting a new unit today on web development. So we're going to start looking at web pages, because all web pages are created with a purpose. The person that creates the web page has a purpose in mind of why they're creating it. And when you visit a web page, you're visiting it with a purpose. You're seeking some kind of information, and hopefully the web creator took that in consideration. You can find the information you're looking for. So today, if you will go to code.org, and when you log in, you should see CSD Unit 2. We have finished Unit 1. So you should see Unit 2 Web Development. For those of you at home, if you did not see Unit 2 Web Development, please make sure that you have joined our Google class, because it syncs up with code.org. So for classroom, if you were in 5th period, this is going to be your code. You can pause the video if you need to get that code. If you are in...
Wait, it should say exploring web pages.
Yes. If you're in 6th period, this is going to be your code. Feel free to pause. And then for 7th period, this will be your code. And once you enter the code, it may take it a little bit for it to sync up with Classroom. But you should see, when you log into code.org, Unit 2 Web Development, your first chapter says Creating Web Pages. So in this whole unit, you're going to learn how to create and share content on your own web pages. And we're not talking about going to Google sites where it's already set up for you. We're talking about you learning to write HTML and learning how to do the coding. So with for this particular lesson, Lesson 1, Exploring Web Pages, is looking at why people create web pages. Every website has a purpose, a reason someone created it, and others use it. So this lesson, you're going to start to look at what purposes a website might serve, both for you and the creator. And then tomorrow is when you get your intro to HTML and start learning some of the coding behind it. So for today, we have two outcomes that we're hoping to get. One is that you can identify the reasons someone might create a given website, and then the second one is some of the reasons someone might visit a website. So click on Lesson Overview. And we do not have any vocabulary on this lesson that we need to write in our notebook, but we will tomorrow. So let's make a copy of this activity guide. Just click Google Doc. Make a copy. All right, so for this particular activity guide, it looks at personal web pages and says, personal web pages are a chance to say something to the whole world. So on the bell ringer, I asked you if you could say something to the whole world, what would it be and why is it important to you? Some of this ties into our digital citizenship, because I don't think you guys always realize that when you post something on the internet, you're pretty much saying something to the whole world. The whole world could see what you have, what you're posting, which is why whatever you put online, you want to make sure it's something that you're comfortable saying to whoever might look at it. Was everybody able to get this activity guide pulled up, exploring web pages? Okay. All right. It said to go to the example web pages level on Code Studio. So if we go back and click continue, we will see the other web pages. So click continue. And it's going to pull up some sample web pages. So on our activity guide, it says to select 3 different pages from the list, and for each website, let's look at what did this person want to share with the world and why do you think it was important to them. We're going to do that for 3 of those websites. So let's go back. Pick Recycling Club. Okay. All right, so we've got Recycling Club. The time is now to save the world. They give a what is Recycling Club and kind of tells you what it's about. They give you why recycle, why is it important to recycle, and then what does the club do, how to join, and then reference to questions.
Wait, is this actually a real thing?
Recycling Club?
Mm-hmm.
I've had them at schools I've worked at before. They would set up containers around the school. They would collect the, they've already emptied my trash, the pop tabs off like drinks.
I used to collect those.
A lot of elementary schools collect those because for places like the Ronald McDonald House, if you've got a family member that has cancer and maybe they're having to go for treatments, the Ronald McDonald House is where the family members can stay because hotels and stuff get expensive. So a lot of schools collect those pop tabs. A lot of schools can recycle cans. It just gets gets messy if you don't have somebody that can maintain that for cans and stuff. And it depends on the price of cans on how much they will get. It depends on what it is, but yeah, you're right. You have to have a lot of them. And then a lot of schools, the easiest way schools have to recycle is they will put a container in each classroom. A lot of times the science classes do it for all the extra paper, just scrap paper that is not being used.
Or like science uses it the most.
Does what?
The science is use scrap paper. a lot.
No, because recycling kind of falls under science. So they do it maybe as sometimes service projects and things like that. So on this particular website, if we go back to our activity guide, so let's put in this block, what's the name of the website?
Recycling code.
Okay.
Or actually it's code project.
No, not code projects. Do the, that's the website, but the web page, put recycling club. And then the what are they sharing? This box is not wanting you to list every single thing on the web page. Instead, they're wanting kind of an overall view of what are they sharing on this web page. Well, it looks like they're sharing
Why is you?
what Recycling Club is, number one. They give you the what it is and what it does, how to join, why. So we've got under website name, we've got Recycling Club, and then what are they sharing? You've got that information you're working on.
Thank you.
All right, so once you get what are they sharing, go back and look, why do you think it's important to them? Why is it even work? Why do they even bother creating the website? Why is it important to them? All right, so somebody raise your hand and tell me why is it important to them?
Just stop from being able to save the planet.
Okay. They mentioned the landfills. We're trying to stop the landfills from being overcrowded and full. What else did they say? What else did they say? Like, why do you think they created this website? Why waste the time?
To help keep
To save the world.
They are trying to save the world.
keep the environment clean.
To keep the environment clean. What else are they trying to do?
Make it to where people stop littering.
Okay.
And recycle the stuff that they need to recycle.
Okay, they're trying to get people to recycle. They're trying to save the world beginning with their school for sure. But they're also trying to get people to come to their club meeting. You see, they've got a spot down here to show them how to join. Fridays after school, room 111.
But where is room 111?
So when you look at a website, when you open a website, you want to know, okay, you guys, when you get into other subjects in high school, you'll realize when you go to certain websites, you're going to get the spin of the website creator for a lot of the websites that you go to. This particular website, they are pro-recycle. They want you to recycle. You can go to another website that may say recycling's not worth the time or energy because the person that created that website believes that. So you have to kind of look at the purpose of the website to know what their intent might be. So let's look at a second one. Which one do y'all want to look at next?
Dog. The cutest dog.
Dog. Was it the picture that got y'all?
Yeah.
All right, let's look at my dog is the cutest. Are you prepared? ... They have a little clincher right there. This is my dog Catalina, the cutest dog in the world. After reading this web page, you will definitely see how my dog is the cutest. Disclaimer, you might still think your dog is the cutest, and that's okay, but mine is next. So take a minute or two and look through this website and kind of read over what it's saying. So this website's a lot different than the other one. Take another minute or two and just read through the different posts that she has on the site.
Oh, it says highlight below. And like at the very bottom, you put the letters the same color as the background. Then it's called you can highlight it and it pops up.
Oh, very cool. See? Added feature.
What?
At the very bottom, we just discovered it says highlight below to see the answer. So if you highlight over,
It changes off the color of the background.
Yep.
OMG.
Okay, so let's go back to our activity guide for this website. So for website name, what are you going to put?
The cutest dog.
Okay. You're going to put the cutest dog. And then under what are they sharing? Besides the cutest dog, what?
About like how cute the dog is and how they can do a bunch of other stuff.
Okay, about how cute it is and some of the other things it can do, such as go camping, how smart it is. Alright, so this one gets a little harder. So I don't know, why is it important to them? once you're able to make your own website, you'll realize it takes a while to add pictures, text. So why do you think this is important to them? Do what? She thinks her dog is the cutest. She must be a really big dog person. We can kind of tell that from here. Okay, here's an example. I actually just clicked this did not mean to, but this is the kind of stuff that you will be doing.
Is that what you did?
No, I did not do it. But this is the
Wait.
HTML.
How did
Do you
that?
have to make that?
How
You
did that?
will.
How did that pop up randomly?
I don't know. I must have played something.
So she had to write all that.
This is one you'll
Oh, you might have pressed on view code.
what if you mess up one little word? It'll mess something up, but you'll go back and you'll figure out because each letter, this is kind of what we're going to start looking at tomorrow, are some of the code. Yes, we all are going to, starting tomorrow, you're going to get an intro to HTML, so you're going to kind of see what those mean. So what are we putting here for the third? Why is it important to them? Because they like dogs. You think she's trying to tell us in general about different things dogs can do? All right, let's go back and look at
You want to do the hawkers. Whatever that says.
haikus.
The haikus.
Haikus, you want to do that one? Okay, it says haikus. A haiku is a poem with Japanese origins that consists of only 3 lines and 17 syllables total. The first line is 5 syllables long, the second 7, the third one 5. Below you'll see many different examples of haikus. Hope you enjoy. So look through some of those.
Sweet.
So it's just a sentence.
It is, but remember at the top, the guidelines are the first line is 5 syllables long. This is a haiku, or there's a graceful bird. So the first line is 5 syllables. The second is 7. It serves as an example.
And then the last one is.
The last one is, the third one is 5 again. So 5, 7, 5.
I hope.
So 17 syllables total.
What?
So that's a,
I'm going to see.
so it takes some thought.
But there is only 2 words and it makes 5 syllables.
Yes, right?
Wait.
Some of them do. It depends on the word.
Exactly.
Which is why here, there's a graceful bird. She didn't say there is a graceful bird, because that would make 6. That's why she has a contraction. Just adding some English in here for you guys. So looking at this, let's go back to our activity guide. So what would we put here for website name? Haikus. So under what are they sharing, what are we gonna put?
Different haikus.
Different haikus, and there's a little bit of a disclaimer at the bottom that where they said these haikus were all written by me. So they're sharing, let's see, several examples of different haikus. And keep in mind that most of the web pages that you visit are created by large organizations that have a lot of people working on them. But anyone can create their own personal web page and publish it to the internet like she did. Doesn't always have to be these large corporations. This is one of the 3 pages that was created by just an individual person that had something they wanted to share. So why?
She made all of them?
Yes. So why do you think this is important to this person? I don't want to say her.
Because he or she wrote it.
Because he or she wrote them? I mean, that it took some time. You think it's one sentence, but then when you start counting, they had to put forth some effort.
Her name is Angela Lopez.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure it's a girl.
All right, let's go and we're going to look at the other 2, even though we're not going to fill out the sheets. Let's look at my trip.
Oh.
So go through and look through the.
Why is there so many pictures of the same thing? And
Did she take this picture?
The person that did the website?
Mhm.
No. If you'll notice at the bottom, it says background picture, Pixabay, public domain. Public domain meaning it's a picture that's free for anyone to use without worrying about copyright. So scroll through, she gives a kind of a day on her trip, the morning, the afternoon, and the evening. All right, so on this, we've got our title here. What are they sharing?
Her trip.
Their trip, but what specifically?
about where they
Like a
went
blog.
and what time they woke up, what time they rested.
So kind of it's one kind of a day in the life. We've got our morning, the afternoon, and the evening. What do you notice about this that's a little different than the others in terms of the design?
It's got a bunch more pictures.
It
The
does.
same picture.
Do you think it's easier to read or harder to read than the
Harder
other
to
ones?
read.
Or
I think it's harder too. I think you really have to focus on what you're reading because of all the background. And that's something to think about too when you're designing. So why do you think she's sharing?
Because she wanted to talk about her trip.
Okay.
And let them see if people like the trip that she or if they didn't.
Okay, so she's got some information she's she's just sharing. She went on a trip. She enjoyed it. A lot of times with personal web pages too, when you share information like that, like this, it's a way for you to keep the information as well, so you can remember what you did and when. Let's look. I think there's one more. Yes, musical instruments, a guide. Let's look at that one.
I can barely even read that text.
So, talking about the font's hard on this one. I had to just move like this so that I could be right in front of it just then to be able to read it. Can you guys read it?
Yeah, I can read cursive. It's hard to
If
read
you
though.
copy it and then paste it in Google Docs and change the font.
You could. So it says, music is a beautiful piece of art that so many people around the world love listening to, but sometimes rather than listen to the music, we want to be the ones creating it. But with so many instruments out there, it can be hard to choose. So this website is here hopefully to make that choice a lot easier. So that tells us right there what the website's about, helping you choose the right instrument. I've got woodwinds.
I do brass probably.
The woodwinds
I was a woodwind.
are instruments made all out of wood. Nowadays, hence the name woodwinds, but nowadays that has changed, but the idea of them has not. Woodwinds are typically tube-like instruments that you play by following air into the mouthpiece. Then you've got brass and strings.
Brass.
Percussion.
Isn't brass the hardest one because you got a buzz?
I don't really know. I wish I could play, I don't think I can play a single instrument.
I can play the saxophone.
That's awesome. I encourage you, find a hobby. Learn to play an instrument.
That chihuahua meme, something like that.
So for this one, the first thing you guys noticed when you went to the website was, wow, the font's hard to read. For the other website, the background's clear on this one, but the font's hard to read. The last one we looked at, the background was hard, and then the font, and I'm sure they're doing that on purpose so you guys can see what a difference those kind of choices make.
That's why I like all the big websites and stuff. They use just a regular bullet for it.
Mm-hmm. And everybody loves a cute font or a curly font, but the thing is, when you're trying to get a mass amount of people to be able to read it, you want a very clear font. Okay, so for this, if you will please click share, copy link. Make sure you change link to Decatur City Schools at the bottom. Then copy link. We're going to go back to Canvas. Find our computer science class. Let's go to assignments.
Do we need to keep the CSV unit 2 open?
No. All right, you're going to go all the way down. It's probably, I'm on assignments. You guys, I guess, looks different, but you're looking for lesson 1, exploring web
So
pages.
you gotta make it so you can see
Okay,
it.
y'all can't see it.
Now you can, probably.
We'll do tomorrow's too. All right, so you may need to refresh your assignments page. But you're looking for lesson 1, exploring web pages. Did that help? Can y'all see it?
It's under upcoming.
Okay, it's under upcoming assignments. Just like we've done in the past, click on lesson 1.
Oh, it says this assignment is part of an unpublished module and is not.
Just refresh. Oh. Okay. All right, 1 second.
Upcoming sign.
Okay, y'all should be good now. You may have to refresh. Let me go to student view. So for student view, click on assignments. Let's go to upcoming, lesson 1, exploring web pages. Submit assignment. When you go to your website URL, make sure, guys, that y'all don't do this. You just double click and add in, because this is never what your assignment should be. Usually it puts in your Bitmoji locker or something different. So make sure you actually do Control V to put in the link that you just copied.
Can you do Control V when like the typing thing is up on the screen? You have to hold both though.
Yes. Assuming you can. And then you'll submit. So for this particular lesson, it was short. The point, this is I went over the overview with you. This was our outcomes, that you can identify the reasons someone might create a given website and someone might visit a given website. We did our bell ringer. The last thing that we're going to do is your exit ticket in your notebook. So in your notebook, this is going to be a journal 321. It's on the board over there, or you can look at it right here. What are 3 topics you might be interested in creating a website about?
Do we have to write the question?
No. Just do a 3 dash and tell me 3 things you might want to create a website about. Tell me 2 reasons you think someone might visit a website you create. And then 1 thing that you're most interested in learning about creating websites. So you can just do 3 dash, 2 dash, 1 dash, and just give me your responses.